So, dreammancing has its challenges that are actually kind of like hazardous dangers. And I don't know what you're going through when you have nightmares, but sometimes there's a quality that it's more than just a metaphor that is really um, kind of, you know, something you can look at the meaning for the next day. Sometimes you really feel like you're in another dimension and you are battling demons. And I want to say to you that you are actually. And when you succeed, you do change the world, you do change your life. And I want to ask you to call in more protection before you go to sleep. Please start doing prayer at night, do a candle, do sage. Um, and when you're in the dream time, start activating some of your power animals, like the mother bear, the giant tiger, the dragon who loves you and looks out for you. Um, call three of them if you're in a really bad situation. Call a wolf pack and let them work for you when you have this demon who has stolen from you. I had a really strange thing happen this week, and it's very much affected my love life, and I don't really know how to um, manage this particular situation other than when you have a really bad nightmare, remember that you can go back into it with a more awake state of mind. I use this drum, and through drumming you can get yourself there, and then once you're there with your power animals this time, with your um intentionality to call back the thing that was stolen. I actually felt like my relationship was stolen. This is really weird thing that happened. I had this epically wonderful weekend with my new beloved. We don't have that solidity yet. We haven't created the full cube of the foundation where we're not vulnerable to these sort of things. We haven't even fully walked through the door where you go, we're in this life together, but that only happens after the foundation, right? So, and you got to be really careful, because when you're in the foundational uh building point where you're starting to create the cube and you're not there yet, you're very vulnerable, right, to forces. And so we'd had this like epically loving time on all these mental levels, creative levels, social levels, meeting his family. Oh my God, his soul family. And then we had made love at a new level where there was sacred connectedness, completely divinely flowing in a really tantric way. And we fell asleep, right? So I fell asleep. I thought I fell asleep. But what my poor lover went through was apparently me fighting a demon almost the whole night. Thrashing, banging, I don't know, maybe making wild sounds, not breathing every 3 minutes, stopping to breathe, which is apnea. You could say it's just apnea, except for I never have that. It's only ever come when I'm fighting a demon. And I actually did have a demon one of the times I was awake to what was happening, but in the dream they were smothering me with a pillow. So this is one of the ways that you can get in danger in the spirit world. But like we're not in control of this huge vast territory of dimensions that we actually exist in, but we do have power within them if we activate our power. But unfortunately, what happened in this night was that I woke up refreshed. I didn't remember anything except for I was given an image of a blue flame, a gas flame of a stove, with water pouring into it. And I was like, oh, that's the message. I wake up fantastic. I wake up though, and my beloved looks like a different person, like not even the person I know. His eyes are swollen shut. His whole body system is in a freak out mode. And he's like, you got to get out. Just leave. Just leave. I can't handle one more moment of you. And I don't even know what he's talking about, because I don't remember anything that happened in the night. Um, so I leave, and now, of course, he's like never wants to see me again because he's went through hell. Um, I'm hoping that that won't last forever, but I noticed in his texting, and such, he wouldn't call me. He wouldn't allow me to talk to him personally, which is a big sign when somebody won't talk to you personally that they are being affected by negative forces. When they're afraid to even look in your eyes. It means they're being taken over by sort of another. Well, we have the robot reality, which actually the trouble with the robot reality is it has a lot of evil spirits that can use it. And so it can use texting, it can use everything robotic in ways that people don't feel their humanity, right? So I noticed in his writings to me that they are now full of nastiness. Like he's been nothing but loving to me this whole time, right? So it doesn't even sound like his voice. It's like he's got all of these words he's using, like you're self-serving, or you're psychologically manipulated. You're oh my God, there were so many. It was just like, and you don't appreciate me, because I had sent a text saying, hey, I got really scared in the morning when you said, just get out like that. I said, I really understand that you needed space, but it was so scary. It felt like you were throwing me out, felt violent, and it endangered me in my life to be that disoriented by such a loving time, and you like going like Jekyll and Hyde. So he got triggered into this thing of a long, long, long fear list of all the things I didn't appreciate and la la la. But the thing is, it didn't have his tone. It didn't have his ways he's always spoken to me. And I started to feel really questioning, well, what does this mean? So what I did, though, at a certain point in the day, I realized, oh, he just fought a demon with me all night long that I don't consciously remember. He fought it with me, though. Neither of us had called in protection. I had wanted to burn sage that night because I already felt I needed protection. And he said, we can't burn anything in the building. So I wasn't even allowed to make my sage protection, which would have prevented this. And I asked him to do prayers with me for protection of our love because it had gotten so high, but we forgot to actually do them. And the thing is, I know that when your love making, your love in the night, it's so bright. It's so full of light that what can happen is the hungry ghosts are roaming through the world. They're roaming around looking to eat, right? They want to eat. And the best way they can eat is to steal people's love and just take it. And then, because we are not anchored in our bodies fully when we're dreaming, it's a time if we don't call in our protection or have our protection going on in our dreams, where we're more vulnerable, we're more susceptible to getting energetically owned, having parts of ourselves stolen, having soul loss, and getting a little possessed, actually. So that's what I suddenly got was, oh, this spirit has come and in some energetic way, or maybe even in a very direct way, has taken over John's spirit a little bit. Now, that's not something that you have to say is, oh, they're possessed, exorcism. No, it's something that's happening all the time for all of us. We are always dealing with different forms of having ourselves taken over by others' negative energies all around us that we are having to navigate. And sometimes we get affected by our parent or our child, or well, usually not the children. They have their tantrums and we can really be separate from that. But like a boss, and then suddenly we'll be talking like them and we'll be kicking the dog, like, or be in some horrible way because we felt kicked, and we're just passing on the negativity, right? So I felt like this negativity had come and it had affected him to such a degree that our precious love was stolen. So what was I going to do? And is what I did do even going to make a difference? Because, I'm talking like dreams are real. I'm talking about spirits as if they're real, ghosts as if they're real. And to me, that's just, I live in that realm a lot. And so I have to navigate and respect as if they are, or else I'm lost. Because as a dyslexic person, I found that I can only navigate by the opposite realm that most people do. If I navigate by the heart, if I navigate by the spirit world as real, I'm safe in this world. That's just who I am. So that's why you're listening to me, right? Because I bring another perspective that you could just say, oh, it's all symbolic, whatever way it works for you to find if there is meaning in these messages to you. But I'm actually kind of inviting you into what's a more shamanic involvement with your dreaming. Because what I did was I realized, this poor guy, I'm a dreammancer, and I usually navigate this all alone. Nobody knows what I go through at night. I wake up in electricity storms. I wake up kicking. I wake up crying. I go back into the dreams, though, to find out what happened, if I've lost something. And then a whole nother adventure happens in the bardo where I'm both awake and asleep, right? So I went with my drum for a couple of hours yesterday to find out, what happened. What happened? And I ended up on a long journey where I saw exactly what happened. And I'm not going to say that now because that's private. And I also saw what would fix it, and I called in many, many, many helpers to repair the damage. But what was really kind of exciting is that when I sat down to drum, I had this inspiration to, let me see if I can show you this. I wanted to see that pot on the stove. It was made by my daughter. I turned on the gas and poured water into it. And then I suddenly realized that was the dream I woke up with. Water pouring into the gas blue flame. I was destined to do this journey work. I was told in advance, you're going to need to do something to repair this situation. Now, will it repair? Will my beloved become open to me again? Will he have been so affected by this negative spirit that he will never come back and always be tainted by what happened that night? That's the thing. These dreams that we don't deal with, they can actually harm our lives, take away our loved ones from us, close our hearts. Here's another way to look at that. So a friend of mine was with his soulmate for a number of years. They were on the verge of getting married. So in love. And she had to have a surgery, and the only organ, she had to have an organ transplant. And it was her mother that offered her organ to her. And the thing was about her mother hated her fiance, hated him to the core, right? And she's really happy with her fiance. They're really in love. But she goes and she has this operation, and when she comes out, she hates her fiance. She never wants to see him again. She cuts off and will never talk to him again. That's the thing I'm talking about. When other people's energies get into us to such a degree that we're not on our path anymore, that we don't believe our own hearts anymore, that we start going into our heads, into a whole sort of realm of excuses for why we're cutting off from this person without going to the heart and the spirit to say, what happened? What has happened to my spirit? Because that's a real dimension going on all the time. And that real dimension is really where illnesses come from. That's really where our relationship problems come from. That's where our disconnect from our creativity happens. That's where our yeast infections or UTIs, or like, they're all related to something in spirit that's going on that must be attended to. And I'm not saying it's not also in the physical body, because it is, but that's the thing. Heart, spirit, body, they're all one thing. But the thing about the intellect is that we believe the intellect is our whole world, and the rest is what's marginal and what's not as important. And so we will believe AI, we will believe our minds stories that can be incredibly negative, incredibly. I mean, the trouble with our mind stories is that they basically rattle around our own psychosis in terms of our fears and our projections and our navigating our protection by cutting off, right? But the truer dimension, the only real true dimension, is the heart, body, spirit, and the in the heart is the real mind that is connected on thousands of multidimensional sacred levels. And the mind is the servant. It is just part of the body's apparatus, the servant of the soul. And you need to get into control of that, where you get aware of when you're getting owned, when you're getting hypnotized, when you're getting taken over and stolen from, when your light has gotten so big. Because the thing is, the more loving you become, the more creative, the more sacredly, divinely interwoven with everything you ever wanted to do and be, the brighter your light gets. It literally, your aura light will shine in the night like a beacon. And you want that because you want to be a beacon to many people, many souls around you, your family. But also for me, like, I'm actually going into the Bardo lands in order to throw down, rope ladders, lifelines of light into these places that help people. They can grab onto, spirits can grab onto and come to these higher realms where they will be healed and protected and guided, and so whatever. Sorry, I've gotten really esoteric on you. Well, I always am. That's why you're with me, right? So, but the thing that's quite amazing that I find is that when I do this spirit work and I really tackle the demonic energies, or the just sort of nefarious little gremlins that are creeping around the world, my psyche, my friends, and I go there with healing intention, in the big journey that I went on for a couple of hours with the drum, that demon was actually healed. That demon actually transformed into a whole nother aspect of dimensionality of its soul destinies. So the potential, whether you think any of this is real or that I'm psycho the potential, though, even psychologically, if you just say it's all metaphorical but the metaphors help, just like the placebo effect really is quite effective a lot of times in medicine. You don't have to believe everything I'm saying or own it in order to just sort of go, it's a mystery. It's all such a mystery. And what helps me? So if it helps you, what I'm saying, if going with a drum and a rattle, boom, 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 very quickly down the tunnel, and you're calling in your protectors first, and your shields first, and then you make your intention with them first, and then you say, take me home, take me there, and take me home safely first. Then when you enter into the adventure of the soul healing work you're going to do on yourself, or your past self, or your childhood self that was very alone, or someone else who is in great danger right now, when you go there, you will be protected. It will all happen for you and with you, and you will find you are given tools, empowerments, and healing abilities you never knew you had. You will find ancestors, healers, angels, guides, incredible gods and goddesses available to talk with right there and then in the dream world. Excuse me. And then it's so likely that everything will turn around that is against you at this moment, or scary. Every single thing will turn around. And this is the power of spiritual work. Spiritual work. Spirit, heart, body work. It's connected to your body. The energetic disturbance in your body is real. That needs to be respected and looked at. That must be taken out of the way. That must not be okay to have that energy or that thought form disturbing your nervous system. It's not okay, and it doesn't need to be that way. So I'm just fascinated, though, by the way that spirit and body are this one thing. They really, we try to separate them. Like, oh, there's my spirit self and there's my body self. There's my mind. It's the mind that I find is the most separate one, that has to be brought in very consciously, sort of anchored down into the heart. And then when you do that, then your heart and soul can guide you, and your intellect is listening to these other levels. All right, darling. Well, pray for me this time that my beloved is not completely so disoriented by the kind of dream work I do at night that they never want to see me again. But I really do feel that if we had done our protection that night, like I asked to do, if I had been allowed to burn the sage, which I wasn't, if I had found a way, no matter what, that would not have happened in that manner, because it's all about protection. And the thing is, your protection needs to be called in every morning and every night. Every morning and every night. However you do it, with your religion, your God, your practices, you've got to do it, though, because the thing is, we're in a vast world, which is very good with whoever we are, however we are. It's unconditionally loving. We can be terrible people, and we will not be disturbed in our awful antics. But this calling in of protection, this intentionality around it, it actually seals you off from this kind of thing that I just went through. Okay? It won't seal me off from having to have fought the demon that was there, but it would seal me off from what happened the next day. And that means that, we cannot expect that we can just go on and on and on without asking for spiritual protection. Spiritual protection is it's the magic factor. It's sort of like the clitoris in a sexual relationship. If you leave out the clitoris and going down on women, the sex is never going to actually fulfill itself in the natural way it will when all of her is included along with all of him. So spirit's like that. Spirit is the clitoris of life. You call in spirit and everything works right. You call in spirit and then 1,000 things are solved when one, whereas with our mind, we try to solve things and our solution causes 100 more problems and cuts us off from everything we've been creating, right? So protection, how are you going to do it? You have your own religion, you have your own ways, you have your own name for God, goddess, all that is. What do? I connect with all of the 5 elements. I thank every single one of them, the earth for feeding me, the sun for beaming on me. I go into sort of a long prayer with them each. I open the portals and I close the portals to blessings. And then if you can do one more thing, if you can actually do this with your relationship every 4 days, every 4 or 5 days, 5 at the most, call in spirit to help you. We are crazy freaking monkeys. We can't get along that well because we are so multidimensionally, I don't know if it's fragile, but sensitive. And to be in relation to another being who's just as wildly subtle and intricate, all of those connections, millions of connections between you lining up perfectly, that needs spirit's miraculous help. All right? So when you call in spirit weekly, together, not just one person doing it, but you hold hands, light a candle or have a bowl of water there, you will find your relationships goes so much better, so much more smoothly, so many more things you can communicate. And you won't need to go through such big dramas every week where we're suddenly you're together, suddenly you're not, interferences of family or money or ghosts. You will actually be allowed to keep having that bliss grow. You will be allowed to be such a bright white fountain, rainbow fountain, I should say, fountain of color, including deep dark colors, that your fountain will bring this healing magic into the universal realms and into this earthly plane. And it's not that to think that, oh, my fountain is so bright it endangers me because the ghosts of the night want to harvest. Well, they do, but they also do want to all day. And we're tempted all day by all kinds of addictions, that steal from us. You have the hungry ghosts of just the capitalists who want your attention online of the products that gonna lead you down another, rabbit hole of pink salt, where in the end they want you to spend $1,000. It's just a constant navigation of all the ghosts, all the kinds of ways that we need to navigate how we're being stolen from, misinformation, fake news, fake AI, and all of that going on. It's like, well, are we just going to be consumed? Are we going to be taken over? Do we have like any choice in this? Is this just like a one-way path to total humanitarian destruction? Well, kind of, yeah. Except for that's the hero's adventure. And you don't have to end it in the apocalypse or destruction or the disappearance of the magic feminine or the ignorance of the spirit realm that is so vast and the fear of it. You get to navigate in such a way that your happiness, your joy, your health becomes exponentially more and more abundant. Your finances, your love life, your sexuality, expansiveness, all of it, all of it, all of it. But you gotta call in protection, and you need spirit's help, because it's a lot to navigate, and it's not just ours. Like we're in a bigger story. We're in a big mystery. And if you're going to be in the mystery zone, which is what people have always been so afraid of, why they want to annihilate the witches, the healers, the magic people, the indigenous, because those people are okay with the mystery about actually walking in the abyss of walking through veils instead of just getting stopped by them, right? Let's anchor in right now. Let's not let this conversation send you into some kind of fear of your dream time. I want you, no, don't do that. Come on. What we're going to do is we're going to anchor into love. All right. You know that when you take psychedelics and you don't feel love, and you're in some kind of crazy laughter thing, and love isn't there, you go like, wow, this is not the real realm. That's what happened to me. Yes, that's why I stopped doing drugs completely. So it's because I got into these places where love wasn't there. Trippiness, amazingness, fractals, it's all there without love. I'm like, this is not a real enough realm for me, because love is the base note. It is the energy wave that's fluctuating. Yes, it goes up and down, has all these different qualities, but you just get on that wave and you keep navigating through all of this, and you keep calling it in, more higher love, deeper love, surrounding love. Call it in. Okay, well, it's a journey, it's an adventure. I pray for me that this particular sabotage from the spirit world clears up soon. And I'm praying for you that you will take everything I said to heart and allow the complexity and the subtlety of what I'm saying to be like, this is where we are. This is the world we're in. It really is that dicey. It really is that multidimensional. It really is that exciting. You really do have access to that many different levels of your power. Okay, much love, darling. This conversation will continue. I'm open to questions. You can You can message me here on YouTube or Facebook. You can also write to me at lovelifewitheve@gmail.com, although I keep forgetting to check that. So it could also be evesedenarts@gmail.com. And definitely, let's start the conversation. How can we be really happy, joyful, empowered, and even in this world with all the craziness going on, shine our lights that bright without getting taken over by the negative spirits and people, belief systems that we've got to face full on and realize that's a hypnosis, that's a machine mentality. I choose humanity over mechanical existence. Okay, love.